If you're looking to make solar simple, give Ron Domenico with AD Energy a call. All-day energy made simple. Solar solutions with zero down, options to lease or finance, and roofs and trees are no issue. Call Ron Domenico at 609-226-2802 and tell him you saw him on the Sports Box.
Well, hello again, and welcome to the show that's definitely not a Maalox moment. This is the Sports Box, where the only opinion that matters. It's right here. I am Mike Coletta, a.k.a. Hamilton Mike, along with my partner, Brian the Ranger Retard. I saw that face. We're right here. Brian, how are you? Couldn't help but could you. You had to give the face.
You didn't fake me out.
I saw it in the corner of my eye.
You planned it the whole time.
Yeah, you had the corner of my eye. I saw it, and I couldn't let you down. Anyway, today we are back to round two, talking about the playoffs. Let's talk about the Metropolitan Division Final. Pittsburgh off to those Washington Capitals. Pittsburgh, what can you say about the champs? They take care of Columbus very, very handily, very easily. I thought Columbus would put up more of a fight. I think we both did. But unfortunately, they went down. And the Capitals, oh man, Toronto playing well. Big wake-up call, I think, for the Caps. Well, let's talk about the series, Brian. Go ahead.
Well, you look at how these teams kind of got here.
Yeah.
And it really is two different stories to me. So you have a Pittsburgh Penguins team that, for the most part, dissected a Columbus Blue Jackets team, a good Columbus Blue Jackets team, that was really one of the better... really one of the better teams coming into the playoffs.
16-game win streak.
Yeah, I mean, they had 108 points in the regular season. I'm pretty sure 108 points. I mean, for them to start on the road, I mean, that tells you a lot about this screwed up playoff system in the NHL. Pittsburgh took them down, man. I mean, that really wasn't a competitive series for the most part. Pittsburgh just did what they do. And then you take a look at the other side. Washington struggled. With a bunch of kids from Toronto.
5 overtimes in 6 games.
5 overtimes in 6 games. That series could have absolutely gone the other way.
And hats off to Toronto. They played their asses off. Frederick Anderson played out of his mind.
Maple Leafs fans, if you're watching, you have absolutely nothing to be ashamed of. That's a team...
Austin Matthews.
I got to tell you, they're going to be a good team for a long time.
5 rookies to score.
Kudos to Babcock, Shanahan, Lamoriello. They're doing a phenomenal job up in Toronto. That team's going to win a Stanley Cup in the not-too-distant future. I'm on record saying that because they're a really, really good team. But you look at the teams in this series, again, Washington, Pittsburgh, this is the premier matchup of the playoffs, in my opinion. I think they're probably the two best teams that are left here. But I have to tell you, Mike, the story that the first round told me doesn't appear to be a good fairy tale for the Washington Capitals, okay? This is a Pittsburgh Penguins team that beat them last year. They beat them in this exact series in 6 games. You look at how these teams are playing. Pittsburgh went pretty much with ease through Columbus, and Washington struggled with a Toronto team that barely got in.
Well, see, that's where I'm going to flip the other side to you and say that this is not only a revenge factor from when they got beat last year, but I think it's a big time wake up call to Washington, saying that okay, we can't overlook a team like the Toronto Maple Leafs. Now they play a team like Pittsburgh. I think that woke up the sleeping giant. Now I think Washington is pretty pissed off that it went that long in Toronto. They could be a little tired, but I don't think so. I think this is going to be a great series, by the way.
I agree.
It's going to be both ways. I think the Capitals need to keep Pittsburgh off the power play. They do have a good power play killing unit. As of the end of the season, they were number 7 in the league. Pittsburgh's power play is number 20, killing-wise, unbelievably. But I think that's where the game's going to be won and lost is the power play. I think Washington needs to capitalize on the power play with the Penguins because they're not going to give the puck away too much, Pittsburgh. I mean, this is a disciplined team that knows how to win. They're Stanley Cup champions, and to be the man, you got to beat the man. So
I love when you drop Ric Flair.
Woo!
You
like that? You like that?
No, I agree. It's a wake-up call. It's a wake-up call to the NHL that these Capitals are nowhere as good as we thought they were. I'm gonna drop a little Dennis Green on you.
Oh,
the Caps are not who we thought they were.
Oh, there we go.
Listen, again, it's another series where Crosby had a great year, 44 goals. To Ovechkin's 33. It's the Magic versus Bird of our generation in hockey, but except that one team wins cups and one team can't get out of the second round. And you look at the Penguins have the pedigree. They've been there and done that repeatedly. Both of their goaltenders have won Stanley Cups as the premier guy. You look at a guy like Braden Holtby, something happens to him in the playoffs, and I cannot put my finger on it, but it's not a good thing. again,
if you look at this series the way it should go with all the firepower this team's have, I mean, you're talking Backstrom, Ovechkin, Johansson, Oshie, Williams, and then you talk about Pittsburgh, you talk about Crosby, Malkin, Kessel, Hornquist. You talk about all these guys that can light it up at any time. It's going to be a great series. Goaltending issues, Matt Murray, Matt Murray's played well. He's been injured of late. Marc-Andre Fleury stepped in, played well. I think the goaltending issues are kind of gone there. I'm going to give the nod to Holtby a little bit, though. I think Holtby can get in that zone where he's untouchable. Is he going to get in that zone? Well, I think he can. Will he? Well, it's going to be determined. I think there's going to be a lot of goals in this series. I don't think a lot of goalies are going to have shutouts in this and one-goal games. I think we're going to have a lot of 3-4, 4-5 games, lighten it up. I'm going to say the Caps in 7. Or actually, I'm going to go out on a limb here. I'm going to say the Caps in 6. I think it was a wake-up call to the Capitals. Like I said, I think it's a revenge factor from last year. Like Brian says, this team, as talented as they are, they can't get out of the second round. They brought in Shattenkirk for a reason, to get this team over the hump. I think they could do it. With the firepower that they have and the goaltending they have, there's absolutely no reason, even Pittsburgh on deck, that they should be able to beat Pittsburgh.
I would agree with you if I didn't think this was the exact same team as last year.
Wow.
They haven't made that many changes. They added Kevin Shattenkirk, who I'm a personal fan of, but he has not fit in well with this team. I think he doesn't want to be there, frankly.
Mm-hmm.
I think he wants to be there. I'll go to the Rangers if you really want to be truthful. I think that the offensive players on Pittsburgh are better. I will admit, frankly, that the defensive players on Washington are better than what's on Pittsburgh. But goaltending, man, I got to tell you, I watched those games with a lot of interest between the Caps and the Maple Leafs. I walked away extremely unimpressed with the way the Caps were playing. If you want to tell me that they looked past Toronto, I'll buy that a little bit.
Okay.
Early on. When they fell down 2-1 in the series, I know that at that point they ripped off 3 straight. Those were not dominating wins, though. So it's not like they came out there with guns blazing to take down the upstart Maple Leafs. They barely got through. That's got to concern the fans in Washington and the coaching staff in Washington. Again, you're right. To be the man, you got to beat the man. I don't think the Caps beat the man. The Caps have lost at this spot way too much for me to have any confidence that they're going to somehow miraculously do it this year when they look like crap in the first round. I'm going to put that out there. They didn't look good at all. So give me Pittsburgh. I'm going to say Pittsburgh in 6. I think what ends up happening is the Caps are down 3-2 going into Pittsburgh, and they don't leave alive. I think the Penguins put them down in 6 at home,
wow.
And then we'll see what happens after that. But again, the Penguins get offensive production from guys you've never freaking heard of. Jay Gensel, Brian Rust, Tom Kuhnhackl. Sherry had a great year for Pittsburgh. They're deeper than just the big 3, and they're going to show that in this series. The problem I have, again, with Washington is, how many... Is Justin Williams going to score overtime goals? Is what they're going to do? Like, is that you need to do that all the time? 5 overtimes against Toronto. This isn't Toronto. This is Pittsburgh. Pens at 6.
I'm going to cover my head in a minute. Well, thank you for watching. That is our emotional Metro Division Finals, second round playoffs. Remember, you can always get us on social media and see Brian get a little hostile if you need to.
I love being hostile. Mm-hmm. Why not? It's fun. Mm-hmm. And if you want to, guess what? We're on Twitter at Facebook. We're on Twitter at Sportsbox Show. On Facebook at Sportsbox Show, and of course the YouTube channel. You can subscribe right through. There's going to be a link at the end of the video. You can subscribe right through there, and make sure you're watching all of our second round previews. We do live NHL coverage. Make sure you're on board.
I could probably go for hostile right now if there was one down the street or something. Anyway, thank you for watching. I appreciate it. We both appreciate it. Keep an eye out. We got good stuff coming. Follow us on round 2. Follow us on round 3. We'll go to the finals. We got draft coverage. We're going to have it all for you. So remember, at the Sportsbox, the only opinion that matters.
Oh, it's here. Oh. It is so right here. It's right. This general area.
Here, and over here, and over here. See you.
This episode of the Sports Box is brought to you by Mic'd Up Entertainment and DJ Mike Velarde. For all of your event planning needs, make sure you contact Mike at 609-864-5925 and tell him that you saw him on the Sports Box.
1, 2, 3.
Don't forget to subscribe.